for me, what I would tell you is if you want to network with people way out of your league, figure out a way to be useful to all of them. And you do so, you get invited to everything.
It's like, okay, well, there's Dan Bilzerian, there's Jeremy Piven, there's all these like high status guys, right? And then there was you, right? How, with the things that you teach, how do you network with somebody who is just objectively higher value than you?
Yeah.
Like Dan Bilzerian's just more famous. He just has more women than you. They're just richer than you. How do you even get yourself in those circles with people who are objectively better than you?
There are autonomic responses that you get when you're around higher status people or really attractive women, and I don't have them anymore because I'm so used to being around them.
Yeah.
So I treat them all the same. I don't change my inflection. That's number one. And number two, I'm always useful.
Yeah.
I'm always useful. I'm always like, with Jeremy, he would do like comedy shows, and I would bring a bunch of girls to his comedy show. With Dan, if he wanted help with some sort of like business thing, I would introduce him to an expert in that specific area.
Right.
That's how I would do it. I was constantly with Cole Gordon. I would introduce him possibly to clients.
Yeah.
Whoever it was. With Ty Lopez, I gave him a forum to do like a podcast. But the reason why I was useful to him is because I did more research on Ty Lopez than anybody else.
Yeah.
And because I'd known Ty for 10 years, our interview was better. Because I knew Dan for 10 years, our interview was better. And because I had read every book by David Buss, our interview was better. So that's how so for me, what I would tell you is if you want to network with people way out of your league, figure out a way to be useful to all of them. And you do so, you get invited to everything.
So how do you teach that in your program, though? Like, how do you teach guys who, are not objectively higher status to start networking with people who are higher status than them?
Triple speed audiobooks, double speed podcasts. That's one of the ways. Like, just load up with as much information as you can. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, like, in the critical thinking section of the of Men of Action, like, learn how to be able to anticipate and solve other people's problems.
Yeah.
If you do, man, I swear, I get called for advice from the most random people that you would never believe hit me up for advice. You would never, guys with massive social media followings, guys who have 8-figure businesses will hit me up for advice on certain things. And the reason why is because they know whenever they're around Michael Sartain, I have a solution, or at least I can point you in the direction for a solution to a problem, because I'm the guy you get your girlfriend through. I'm the guy you get your boyfriend through. I'm the guy you get your employees and your employers through. I'm the guy you get your sponsors through. I'm the guy you get your book list through. Patrick Bet-David said something great in his book, Your Next 5 Moves. He said, book drop, don't name drop. Book drop, don't name drop.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the reason why, because I am always useful and I'm always solving problems. The way I show love to my friends is solving problems for them.
Sure.
And so that's my way of communicating. I don't say, "Hey, bro, I love you." I say, "I solve your problem." It's like, you're having trouble with your girl. Let me explain to you how to deal with this. So we're going to write shorter text messages with her. We're going to be less reactive to it, and I'm going to teach you where we're going to go, where you're going to meet 10 other girls like her, so she understands that that you're the scarce resource, she's not. And then when you get to that point, then he's like, "Oh man, thank you for." Then I talk to him exactly in the pitch and tone and tenor that I'm speaking right now.
Yeah.
Very calmly. I don't change it because they're high status, right? I don't use a bunch of verbal crutches. My eyes don't get big. My palms don't get sweaty.
Yeah.
And because I've done that so many times, I know exactly. If I ever met Elon Musk, I know exactly what I'd ask him about.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What are you going to do about the radiation shielding when you put that first group up on Mars? Are you going to put it underground, etc.? Like, what in material physics is going to help you to?" I would ask him these questions, and in his mind, he'd be like, "Holy shit! Like, this guy actually knows what he's talking about." That's what I would do, because I studied astrophysics in college.
Yeah.
So like that's what I would do whenever I talk to Dan, we shoot the shit or whatever, but I'm always trying to say, like, how can I provide value to my friends?
Yeah, and that raises your status in that person's eyes. Your status is contextual.
Yes.
Right? Obviously, from a third person perspective, yes, Dan Bilzerian's higher status than us. But you have to see it from the person's perspective.
Yeah.
From his perspective, we're helping him. We're solving this problem. We're introducing them to their girlfriend, whatever the thing is going to be. So your status raises in their eyes. And that's how you bridge that gap.
I got another thing for you. I have several friends that are worth several $100 million. And whenever I hang out with them, one of the common issues that they have is they're not quite sure who's really their friend.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of friends of mine, like of my friends that are worth over $100 million. Whenever I hang out with them, I never ask them for girls and I never ask them for money, ever. What I do, though, is every time I'm always introducing them to new people.
Yeah.
And it usually takes a couple of years, but after a while, they're like, "Oh, Michael's actually my friend. He's just trying to solve problems for me."
Yeah.
He never asks me for anything. I love this guy, and that's why I've become friends with so many of them. But what am I doing? What am I getting out of the relationship? And the answer is, they got $100 million somehow. I just want to learn. Just teach me what you did.
Yeah.
Teach me. That's all I'm asking for. And if I'm one of those people, I don't feel used because Michael's asking me a question. I actually feel privileged, and I feel complimented. I feel like happy about the fact that he thought so highly of me that he was willing to ask me a question on how to make money or how to make this more successful.
100%. And I think what a lot of people overlook is like the skills needed to, what you teach guys, right? Like to meet the women that they like, but also for you to meet those high status guys are the same skills.
Yeah. So when you get the highest level of sales,
Yeah.
when you get the highest level of interpersonal communication, the highest level of intersexual dynamics, and the highest level of dating, they're the same skills.
Yeah.
A great example is if you ever read Oren Klaff's books.
I was just about to say that.
He talks about eliminate neediness and avoid beta behavior. Those are those are textbook words out of a dating book. So,
but it's the same thing. If you are meeting a higher value person and you do what most guys do and they don't even realize it, right? Like, what do most people do when they go to a business conference, right? They're like, there's always like this 10% of wealthy guys. A lot of people are trying to sell them, work with them. But if you meet them at a high value event, you meet them at a cool place, you meet them at a party with a bunch of hot girls, he's going to fucking treat you differently. It's because your status is different, your frame is different. It's the same things that we've been talking about in our podcast.
I'm giving away the end here, but if you get to the end of Men of Action, one of the things, the homework assignments I give you is to sneak into a place you're not supposed to get into.
Oh, yeah.
And if you guys have ever been to a conference with me, I always go backstage, even when I'm not supposed to go backstage. And when I see my friends back there, I hang out with them. I never ask them to take a picture with me. I just talk to them, and no one acts like it's weird that I'm back there, ever. It's one of the weirdest things ever. I remember when I was in Dallas and Wes Watson came off the stage, and I just walked backstage. It's like, oh, I'm here to see Wes. And the security guard just let me go back there, and I came to talk to Wes, and he was so happy to fucking see me. I got a picture of it. And then I get to the very back, and the guy throwing the conference, he was happy to see me, but I didn't have a lanyard that was let me to go back there.
Yeah.
What is it? I assume status. That's what happened. And I act normal in those situations.
Yeah.
It's the reason why.
And you treat them all the same.
It's the reason why. Dude, we went to, me and Kylie went to see Rufus Du Sol on Saturday. And when we went there, you were standing right behind me.
Are we talking this weekend?
Yeah. Dude, what did the security guard do when I walked in?
He didn't even acknowledge us. He just was like,
yeah, come on by. He looked at me and he just let me on stage, like the hardest club to get into. And then I go,
dude, we didn't even have, Kylie aside, I didn't even have girls with me.
Yes.
And he was just like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just walk in. And then we go to like multiple tables were just offering us alcohol, all the alcohol we wanted.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I don't look like I don't belong. I look like I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And it is this very, very subtle thing that you learn. And it goes back to one of the original things we talk about it. Harvey Specter gets it. Louis Litt doesn't.
Yes.
Harvey Specter, if you put him on stage at Coachella, looks like he's supposed to be there. Louis Litt looks like he's on acid. That's the difference. It's like, how do you react whenever status is presented to you? Do you freak out or can you act normal?